Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to take a short little coffee break to talk about spending time with God and how I tend to get the most out of it, which is funny because I'm going to be talking about not coming in with the attitude of getting the most that you can out of it. I've just been thinking about the ways that I spend time with God and my quiet time and the things that I do to be intentional and to feel filled up and blessed by it every day. And I don't know, there's just some ways that I realized in the past that I didn't exactly have the right mindset or the right attitude about it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about those in case anyone else thinks the same way, and maybe this can help you to not think like this. I don't know, I just feel like yes, it's really important for me to have my quiet time and spend time with God every day. I remember it was so encouraging, like this one day that I didn't get time in the morning for my quiet time, and then the day was terrible, just like my headspace, and I was like, man, it's because I didn't get time with God, which is sad that I didn't get that and that really affected me that day. But at the same time, that was really encouraging because I was like, oh my gosh, God, that means you're actually doing something in this time that I'm spending with you. Even if I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of it or having this huge epiphany from what I read in my Bible, it's still deeply affecting me. And it's still so good to set aside that space. And I can tell more often from when I don't have it, the effect that it has on me. And it just really, really, really is such an important thing. And I think it's so good to guard that space and to make the most of that space. But I don't know, I kind of had this misconception or misfocus that it's all about me, because it's not. And the weird thing about a relationship with God is, yes, a lot of it is about us. And we're supposed to want the good things that God has for us just because they're good. And it's okay to just want Him to love us because we need to be loved. It can be so selfish in other contexts, but somehow with a relationship with God, it's just good, it's just right, like it's supposed to be good for us, and we're supposed to want it because it's ultimate true good, and we're supposed to be happy and satisfied by it. So it is about us. But I feel like my focus had become so narrowed in on that I forgot that it's also about God, and it's a relationship with Him. And I'm taking this time to hear from Him, and He is also taking this time to respond to that, to honor me making this space and to speak to me. And He wants to hear what I have to say, and He wants to talk to me, and He wants me to listen to what He has to say. And it's supposed to be this mutual two-way thing. Like, yes, I'm coming here to be filled by God, the only one who can fill me, but I'm also here to then turn that around and bless my Creator in whatever small way I can. And so I feel like when I did come at it with this super selfish mindset of, oh, let me just get what I need or want out of this and then like skedaddle, run, move on with my day and never think about it again. That's not the kind of relationship with God that I ought to be having. That's not the way that I should be spending my quiet time. I just want to remember that it's about God too, and to be more intentional about what does He want from this time. Is there anything He wants from me? Any response He looks for from me? And specifically anything that He wants to say, and not just like, oh, what do I want to hear? What do I want to read in my Bible because it's a pretty passage and I like it? Like, what does He actually have to say to me? What does He want from me in this quiet time that might look different from what I've done in other quiet times? Like, how does He want me to spend this space that I have? And just praying about that and like being sensitive to that and thinking about like, okay, this is for two of us. It's not just all about me. It sends me into such a greedy, such a grasping kind of mindset when I'm thinking about, oh, what do I need right now, and like, what do I want right now, what's gonna make me feel all good and joyful and spiritual right now, instead of how can I worship God with this time? How can I draw closer to Him? How can I learn to know Him, all of Him, the way that He wants to be known and to reveal Himself to me? And I feel like the main example of when I see this is when I'm driving down the road and I'm like, I want to listen to worship music, like I want to feel close to God. And so I turn on my worship playlist and I'm like, oh, I don't like that song, and I skip it. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that song, and I skip it. And I'm like, oh, I hate that song too, and I skip it. I'm like, oh, I don't feel like that one, and I skip it. I'm like, nah, and then I skip it. And then I've gone through the whole entire playlist and I'm like, oh wow, there's just nothing in there that I wanted. And I feel like that's a really good picture of the kind of mindset that I can get into when I get more focused on me and what do I need and trying to figure out what's gonna make me feel good. And sometimes it's still hard because sometimes there are still songs that I don't like, but I've gotten a lot better about just trying to, like, whatever opportunity is handed to me, try to love God and appreciate God in that moment. And so practice that sometimes, like, turn on my worship music and been like, I'm not going to skip the songs, even if it's not my favorite one, or even if it's not the one I was hoping would come up, even if it's one I don't feel like singing along to or thinking about. How can I really focus on these words and really worship God along with this song? How can I get my heart in this space of worship? Because when I was trying to do it on my own, it's not doing anything. I literally just skipped all of those songs and didn't spend any time worshiping God, because actually what I wanted to do was make myself feel good. But if I truly want the joy that comes of worshiping God, if I truly want to be close to Him, I'm going to have to lay down some of that selfishness. And I'm going to have to come to Him for who He is, as I really am. We can actually meet there and actually fellowship together. And so yeah, I've tried to be a lot more intentional about choosing to worship even when I don't want to, even when it takes a lot of effort to put aside the part of me that wants to be critical and be like, oh, I don't want to sing along to this song, or like, oh, I'm too tired to put in all that effort to actually try to connect with these lyrics. I've tried to make that be at least one tangible way that I can sacrifice what I want for more of God. And I have really seen the fruits of that in the times where it seemed way too hard to try to focus on Him and try to just worship along to this song that I don't like. I've seen the way that it's turned my heart around and gotten me actually to focus on God in the same way, if not more, than picking an easy song that I really like. I don't know, this is just kind of encouragement that having a relationship with God is sometimes harder work than we want it to be. Sometimes it's not as pretty or as perfect as we want it to be, and it takes more effort and more intentionality than comes naturally to us. But I don't know, it's just so much more fulfilling to try to make God happy in that time as well, instead of just trying to make me happy, because just trying to make me happy doesn't always go so well. I just feel so much more blessed by Him and more loved by Him and more like in a right space with Him when I'm thinking about what does He want from me, even if He says nothing right now. I just feel so much better because I've been open to that, and I'm like holding my heart open to Him instead of just coming here with this mindset of like, what am I gonna get out of this? And so I don't know, that's been something I've been thinking about a little bit and trying to be more intentional about during my quiet time or at church, or just in any other space that I have where I'm praying or just thinking. Maybe that's something someone else struggles with a little bit, and maybe this can be encouragement to think about it differently, and that it is so much more fulfilling, and it's really what our time with God is supposed to be, when it's a balance, a good balance of this is for God and this is for us. And God is always so open to blessing us, and I think when we're open to blessing Him, that's when it's just whatever needs to happen happens and both of us are happy. I think that's all my thoughts on that. Thank you for watching, and goodbye until more interesting things happen.